Hey Buckley, so welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you a trope talk. Trope Talk is a series that I'm hoping to have here on my channel where I can talk about tropes. Now, I know that some people find tropes spoilery, so I never really want to talk about them in regular videos. So, if you're the kind of person that finds just knowing that a trope is present in a book spoilery, this is not for you. However, if you quite like knowing what tropes you're getting into, especially if you're someone who has quite particular taste and knows that there's some tropes that just don't do it for you, here you go. I'm going to be talking about tropes that I am very picky with. Tropes that have to be done really well for me to actually engage with them. So we're going to talk about 5 books today, ones that I think handle time travel well and ones that I am less sure about but are very popular and well loved. First one I'm going to talk about is the Licanius series by James Islington. I'm assuming it's Islington, but I do not know, and no one will tell me how to say this man's name, please. Anyway, this is a series. It's an epic fantasy series for the most part, but we do have a time travel element in here. And for me, this is a very popular series that a lot of people talk about, and no one talks about the fact there's time travel in here. Now, as someone who really struggles with time travel, it's not a trope that I normally engage with very much. I would have potentially liked to know that it was in here so that I could go in with the right expectations. This series is one I went in expecting to love. I started a buddy read over with Stephen Arion over on his channel that he's no longer part of, but he's an author. Go buy his books. And we were going to go read this together. And he actually got too busy to be able to continue, to be fair. But I was not having a great time. I was like, Stephen, I'm not sure I can continue this. I did push through and it wasn't the best. Like, I struggled with it, and the time travel got worse as it went on, and I was not enjoying it. And I think for me, one of the issues with time travel like this, it felt like it was for 2 purposes. One was for there to be a big reveal, which it doesn't work for me. They never work for me. And 2, it was so that we could omit information. So it's like, oh yeah, no, like these things happened in the past. We're not going to talk about them. I will show you them in due course. And that's fine as a literary device, but this author was already doing so many other things to omit information that at this point I was like, can you tell me something? For the love of God. Now, don't get me wrong. I liked the rest of the series. I actually gave books 2 and 3 4 stars. This one barely scraped a 3. Like, on core pile, it was 1 point away from being a 2. I had mixed feelings about it, and I don't think that it was handled that well in here. So if you are someone who's really put off by time travel, I would recommend maybe looking into further spoilers about that, seeing if it's for you. Now, we're going to talk about time travel in a literary sense, in a fancy, prosaical sense, and that is in This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal Al-Motar and Max Gladstone. Now, this is one that is a romance. First and foremost, it's a sci-fi romance. And in this story, we are following 2 people who are from opposing time agencies. So these are people who are at war with each other, but over time. And we are following these 2 rival agents as they discover each other and eventually fall in love with each other. Now, this was an interesting story. It was really well written. But as someone who doesn't like time travel, this kind of has Loki vibes or what's his name, 5 from Umbrella Academy, those kind of vibes. Like, you have these agencies and then they mess around with time, and I am not the biggest fan of that, of there being agencies that are outside of time coming in to mess with time. I appreciated it in Deadpool because it felt satirical, but most of the time it's not really my thing. So while I did appreciate the romance, the writing, so many things about this book, as someone who doesn't like time travel, this didn't convert me. This didn't make me believe, do you know what, time travel actually in here, worth it. I liked everything else, but the time travel was not my thing still. One that I think the time travel was not done to be taken in a serious way, not where you're going to analyze it and be like, but the butterfly effect, what happens if this happens and how would that alter this? And one that is just, oh, this is a fun time. I'm okay with tropes I dislike. I am okay with them if they're unserious. In this case, we have Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. This one is a romance book. It's about witches. It's a story in which we have people that have fallen in love and then they fall through time, essentially. And in this one, I was okay with it because at no point am I thinking, I need to believe this type of time travel is real. I need to believe in this story. It's just funsies. And for some reason, that works better for me than time travel in which they're trying to make you believe that there's a science to it and that it's real, and that, you know, the hard sci-fi version of time travel works less for me than just some goofy fun. I'm not gonna lie. Although it's a trope I still dislike and it's not my favorite in this either, I actually could buy into it a lot more because I didn't need to buy into it. It was just, okay, close your eyes, hold your breath, let's go. So I enjoyed that. Now we're going to talk about my two favorite iterations of time travel. I have two books where the time travel in here, not only is it something that I don't mind, it is something that I actively enjoy, which is shocking. The first one of those is going to be The Saga of the Exiles by Gillian May. I need to mention this book at least every 6 months because no one talks about this series. But in this series, we do have various different types of time travel. There is a key, important, central one to the plot of this particular quartet or tetralogy. The series in here specifically follows people who, in this world, in the far future, we are now part of what's called the Galactic Mille, which is a corporation, like a galactic alliance of different alien species. And we are following a group of people who are going to go to Pliocene Earth. So there is this kind of loophole in time where if you go through it, you end up in Pliocene Earth. We don't really know why it's there. It's just kind of a gap that can't be closed in the time-space continuum. So we can go back to Pliocene Earth. Now you can get sent there. You can volunteer to go there so that you don't go to jail, so you don't get imprisoned, etc. Or you can go there so that you can try and live a more harmonious life, a calmer life, away from all this technology. We follow a character who had these what's called metapsychic abilities and then now can't tap into them due to something that's happened to them, and therefore they want to go back to Pliocene Earth so they're not surrounded by people who have got this power because they no longer have it, and lots of different reasons for going back to Pliocene Earth. But one of the things that is awesome is that you can't, once you've gone, you can't come back because obviously you will age, so you'll just turn to dust. And I think that that was a really interesting concept, but also the entire purpose of it is just that there is this glitch in the system, and I really liked that, because it's not trying really hard to be like, look, there's science to this. It's just, listen, in all of this other space stuff that you're watching, guess what? There's a loophole in the time-space continuum. And you know what? Some people are actually kind of happy going through that hole. And I'm here for it. I buy into it, I believe it, and I love this series. And the other one that I do also think is masterful at tackling time travel is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Kindred is the story of a woman named Dana who is living in 1976, and she keeps getting pulled back in time to save this white slave owner in the antebellum South, and she finds out it's because he is her ancestor, which means she has to keep saving this man because, well, this boy who eventually becomes a man, she has to keep saving him because otherwise she won't exist, but at the expense of seeing the way that he treats all of these slaves, all these other black people, the way that he treats her other ancestors. It's an impactful story, and the purpose of the time travel in this is not about science, it is about history, and it's about demonstrating the existing long-lasting impact of our history, and that was the purpose of it. And therefore I loved the time travel in here because its purpose isn't about whether or not it would have a butterfly effect. Its purpose is about highlighting the impact of history on modern day, and it was done amazingly, and I loved it. And I think that it's a really important conversation to be having, and I need more people to read this book. I think that if you're going to bother doing something like time travel, having a conversation like this is incredibly important. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on some time travel books and on their uses and when it does and doesn't work for me. So that is all from me for today. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite time travel books are, and also let me know what your favorite and least favorite tropes are so I can potentially do a video on them at some point. That is all from me for today, so thank you ever so much for watching, and I will hopefully catch you in another one soon. Bye.